Oh, alright. What is it that makes a headphone a headphone? You can wear it over your head. And the way that works is elegantly simple. Pretty elegantly simple. Some of them are collapsible. The key to a headphone that belongs to its own name seems to be only, and I do mean only, in the sound. That's the key. Because when you hear equipment play to you what it is that you've known all along, and when you listen to the same version of the recording, the same audio, the same exact audio, meaning that it's, let's say, an original first pressing CD or vinyl record, right? When you're hearing that and that only, anything else that comes after may be a bit of a re-release, a reissue, or a remaster, perhaps. When you hear what you've been hearing all along, and the only thing that changes is how you hear it. The film, the music, the show, or even just a cherished memory on home video. Well, what becomes clear to you is that there is clarity to sound. Clarity that's loud. And manufacturers will fight this, usually unknowingly, because perhaps those in charge of the place are yet to hear some of this themselves. It's staggering, quite staggering, how the weight today that I feel that bears down over the top of listening involves facing what audio needs. A place to be heard from. Oftentimes as you walk around your own house, or let's just say in a public space. That's more relatable, yes? Let's say that you're in an area where you would like to listen to music, and you may even be trying to. Yet you may notice that carrying around a Bluetooth speaker, even with some kind of, hip holster or, way with which to hold it, right? Even just carrying around a capsule speaker might eventually ask for over-ear listening or in-ear listening because of the surrounding environment. See that audible clutter rather than visual clutter only is usually what prevents the spaces for listening. So when you go to an open area, let's say a library, you are able to hear how you can be with your music. You can be with the music that you listen to because of the space allowed. So, when it comes time to demoing equipment to, let's say, having a shootout between mediocre example, right? Just when it's a term though that's used at least amongst audio engineers, mix engineers, mastering engineers, etc. Right? Whatever is happening there, when making a comparison between various forms of audio equipment, do consider that it helps, I would say, to stay with at least speakers for the time being, as well as headphones. And when you get excited to do this, you've probably saved up enough for this, or managed to somehow find some way to get money in your life that stays, right? And then you're able to listen to a range of brands, of colors, shapes, sizes, whatever it is, the whole 90 yards that you like to have around you, right? Whatever it is that you'll have, that you'll listen to, you have that there for a while, and that's gracious enough. It's incredible that you can consider a minimum of 10 brands today with which to listen from. I'll name a few. Kenwood, that's just one that I've known about and become familiar with. Brookstone, alright, I'm still going. Memorex. Am I wrong about that? I might be. I'm not sure, actually. That's an uncertain one. Let's leave that off to the side. Iowa. V-Moda. Sony. Philips. Really? Kodak. Yeah, that's a definite one. And then there's... It's what is it? Hang on now. I have to think about it here. And I do. Because some brands present themselves in a way that overcrowds others. Sometimes you're reaching for what exists. And when the world tries to say that, well, we have this, and when the world only tries to say that, well, we have this, you might notice that you're looking for all of what is, or at least some of what is. Did you only think that a single manufacturer of headphones exists? You might have missed out on all the chances of your experience to broaden. Klipsch. Here we go. And Altec Lansing also are around. So that's Klipsch, Altec Lansing. Sony. Back to Memorex, which might work with audio. V-Moda. That's V-Moda, V-Moda. Kenwood. You see, when you have a range of choices, and when you have chosen from one, you may grow accustomed to one that fits you. I'll still notice that some of these earbuds are far less appealing to anybody on earth because they need those delightfully spongy foam pads that cover the plastic casing, the plastic body that makes an earbud. An earbud. Well, in order to have it be your bud, in order to have it feel like it's friendly to your ear, rather than cold plastic touch you every time and grow to be a turnoff to a listener, you might want to consider that you can purchase any of those that come with little pads that give it a foam covering. And that's incredible enough, yet it's usually away from, let's say, a company, at least, because it might be away from their budget. And even more tragically, it might be that it's uninteresting to people. See that people will eventually crowd around something, and then about 40 to 50 people join them, and they're pressing their face up against the glass, slobbering at this thing or that, because apparently that's the only one to get. Without competitors, eventually competition becomes something boring, and you'll want this back in your life. you'll wonder why it is that people will only take to the one. Because when we crowd around, there may be 10 to choose from. Well, it might be only put out by the same company involving the same product. So we're lining up. It's practically the start to a horse race, and the racehorses have that gridded box of about 10, let's say. So you got that, and well, at that point, which one are you going to be? Which one are you going to come out from as you start the race of knowing about this and telling your friends about it, so that way they can go and buy it, and eventually you've got this whole area where it's like that. A little racehorse village. And, well, that's what's going to be there. You're going to have this. You're going to have this, and it's going to stay there. And well, just tot on over to here, or over to the side. You might notice that there's anything else going on. And that's what I find to be the most incredible, is that usually there is anything else going on. There is any other option to choose from. So I know myself to mostly be a Nintendo gamer. I've played, though, Sony and Xbox games, so if I were only to tell myself that I was just playing that system or this, I'd be lying. I have to face that as I go into the future I'm creating here, where I'm needing the sign of something different to remain. I notice that sign. Oh, how I do. I read that sign, I check out the packaging. I still know about frequency range thanks to headphone boxes and earbud boxes. I wanted to describe this because you may have had it go from your mind that there are a whole slew of headphone manufacturers. Brookstone. There are tons of suppliers, there are tons of places that make these, factories, etc. Just what I wonder about is why it's so hard for people to find this as, like something inviting. To find it to be the case. I wonder about why it's so hard for this to become inviting to people. And usually I think it has to do with forcefully applied marketing, as in, even the people involved with this are less interested in it by the minute when they really know where they're going to, other than just the dollar that's dangled in front of everyone, right? And hey, we'll give you some free pairs of our own stuff. Great, walking billboards, here they come. And you're going to have to buy from them at some point. Let's say that you're renowned enough and you work with music. You might be expected to appear in a commercial hearing from this person or that, directing, telling you to wear the headphones. Right. Gee, tense, rather. So, when a magazine ad appears in video form, and that's all that you're going to see for a while there, right? It might become the seasonal ad. You might be seeing that. For now, that might be all I'm going to say. Just now that you know that there are several brands from which to choose, consider that for now, perhaps, that you might want to hear from a range of these, because it's so great to hear who's doing what. It's wonderful to get engaged with all that there is, because eventually, when you only stick with just one of something. Eventually, one that there is might become none that there is. So, I'm just speaking from my background over here. So, yeah. I like it when a great deal of something lasts, so that way people can't have that. Thanks for listening. For now, this has been Kentagious Rants. Well, at least that part of the floor is partially lava, so a little portion of that can get cooked. Ah.